Alrighty, we're gonna begin this morning just seated, really nice and comfortable with the knees open. You can have them stacked however you like, and we're gonna close down the eyes and begin to wake up mentally before we begin to wake up physically. So beginning to connect with the breath, and beginning to feel the weight of our body on our mats. Notice all points of contact with the ground. And then notice all points of contact where your body is touching itself. So your hands on your knees, your shins stacked on top of each other. And take one full breath here. And gently open the eyes and begin to roll onto all fours, coming into wide-legged child's pose. So sending the knees nice and wide, bring the big toes to touch, and then walk the hands forward. And allowing the hips to gently and passively begin to open up. We're going to be moving the whole body today, but primarily the hips and the lower part of our body. So the lower back, the hamstrings, the calves. Find 3 deep breaths here. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back into center. Bring the knees together. And then walk the hands forward once again, coming into puppy pose. So pressing the fingertips far from the body and letting the upper body melt towards the ground. Big shoulder opener. And begin to shift your weight over to the right, really feeling into the right side of the body. And that right shoulder. Maybe coming onto the right side of the head. And then shift your weight over to the left. Feeling that same pull, feeling any differences. And then come back to center. Press your hands under your shoulders, coming through tabletop. On an inhale, we're going to ground through the left hand and then reach the right hand up. Sitting up for thread the needle. Exhale and thread the right arm under and through. And to rest on the right side of the head. The left hand can reach to the top of the mat if you like. Or maybe reach behind your back, hooking onto your pants. And hold here for 3 breaths. Beginning to create space in the shoulders. And then take your left hand back under your shoulder. If not, press up, reverse the movement. Open the body up to the right and exhale. Release both hands down. We'll take it to the other side. And then inhale. Open the body up to the left. Feel that big twist. And then exhale, thread it through, coming to rest on the left side. Taking 3 breaths here. And then take your right hand, press through the palm. Inhale, reverse the movement, left hand reaches high, and exhale, place it down. Beautiful work. Walk your knees in up towards the wrists and come back to sit on the heels. So we're in this bit of a weird wrist stretch here. And we're going to begin to rock back and forth, just beginning to warm up our wrists, giving our forearms a bit of a stretch. And then take the fingertips to the outside of the mat, keeping or facing the outside of the mat, keeping this rock and rolling. Notice how your wrists feel this way. And then maybe taking the fingertips towards the body and finding that small rocking motion here. Go ahead and release the hands. Find any counter stretch that feels good. Maybe taking the backs of the hands to the mat. Maybe shaking them out. Just notice any rebound that feels really good for you. And then take the left hand down beside you, coming to a side body stretch. Inhale, reach the right arm up and over. And actively press through the fingertips so that we're really reaching towards the side of the room. You can gaze between the right bicep. And then take it over to the other side, planting the right hand down. Bring the left hand up and over, gazing to the left. So come back to center. Stay sitting on the heels and then take the hands behind you. We're going to begin to lift our knees off of the ground for a nice little ankle stretch. So placing the hands down and behind you, you can begin to lean back and take the hands to wherever they want to be, maybe leaning back all the way. Beautiful, come back up. And then roll into all fours, coming to your first downward facing dog of the morning. So tucking the toes, and then send the tailbone nice and high. Find some movement that feels good. Maybe paddling the feet. And keep connecting with the breath. Allow the upper body to really begin to melt towards the top of the thighs. Actively press through all 10 finger pads. And then grounding through the left foot. On an inhale, sweep the right leg up and back. Bend the knee, stack the hips, open the body up towards the right. No worries if the hips aren't quite squared anymore. And begin to rotate the knee in these big circles. Give the ankles some circles. And then gazing to the top of the mat, go ahead and step the right foot through. Finding low lunge, lower the back knee down. Untuck the toes. And inhale, reach up high with the hands. Exhale, press into the knee. And find some more depth in the hip flexors. Now you can choose to be here, or you may like to come back down onto the fingertips. Just notice where you want to be this morning. And breathing here. Go ahead and take the fingertips to the mat if they're not already. And then shift your weight back as you straighten the front leg. Finding half splits. Your right foot is flexed. You can stay high on the fingertips, find a little fold. And then bend into that right knee once again. Plant the left hand down. Inhale, reach up with the right. Open up for the twist. And then exhale, plant the right hand down on the inside of the right thigh. Finding this low lizard. Keep grounding through the left hand and begin to shift your weight over to the left. Maybe the right foot comes a little closer to the heel, to the groin. And then gaze back over at the left toes. Feeling a nice side body stretch through that left. Gaze back to the top of the mat. Go ahead and step back to all fours. Give the hips a nice little wiggle. Tuck the toes and press back for downward facing dog. And then inhale, we're going to lift the left leg nice and high. Stack the hips, open it up. And then draw big circles with that left knee. Finding the same with the ankles. Give them some love, wiggle your toes. And then gazing to the top of the mat, draw the knee in, step it forward, low lunge. Right knee lowers, hands lift high. And then exhale, press into that left knee. And choosing to bend here, or keeping the fingertips on the mat. Once again, just notice where your body wants to hang out. And then go ahead and plant the hands down, frame out the front foot. Shift your weight back, finding half splits. Left foot flexes, left leg becomes straight. Beautiful hamstring stretch. Then bend into that right knee, ground through the right hand, and open up for the twist. Exhale, bring that left hand down to the inside of the left thigh. And then keep grounding through that right hand. This time maybe the left foot, heel toes in a little bit closer. Begin to shift down onto the right hip and gaze back to the right foot. Play around with this one. Feel that stretch all through the ribs, maybe even in the lower back. Definitely in your obliques, the side of your core. And then square yourself back up with the mat, plant the hands, step both knees back, coming to all fours. Beautiful work. Setting up for downward facing dog. Once again, go ahead and tuck the toes and send the tailbone high. On an inhale, lift the right leg high for three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step it forward. Low lunge. Lower the back knee down. Stay here on the fingertips. And then this time perhaps grounding through the left hand, bend the left knee and reaching around for a quad stretch. Release the foot. Go ahead and frame out that foot with the hands. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Inhale, rise up for a high lunge. Keep bending through the right knee. And then bring your hands to your hips. Go ahead and walk the left foot in a little bit closer so the heel touches. Straighten the front leg and find pyramid. Hinging from the hips. Feeling length all through the right side of the hamstring. Find a small bend in the right knee. Stay high on the fingertips for your balance. And then ground through the right fingertips and lift for half moon. Left leg and left hand reach up towards the sky. Body opens to the side. Good. Gaze down at your mat and go ahead and plant the left hand down and step the left foot forward. Forward fold. First forward fold, so bend the knees as much as you need, giving the hamstrings a chance to wake up a little bit more. Give your lower back some release. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands. And then stepping back to downward facing dog or taking a vinyasa. Optional to lower through chaturanga and come through up dog or baby cobra. We're all going to meet in downward facing dog. Good. On an inhale, lift the left leg high, three-legged dog. Draw the knee into the chest, step it forward, low lunge. Back knee lowers down. And this time grounding through the right hand, reach around to grab onto the top of the left foot or the right foot. Maybe finding the quad stretch. And allow your foot to come to your hand rather than your hand to reach for your foot. You don't want to force it. Good, release the foot. Plant the hands back down. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Inhale for high lunge. Exhale, hands come to the hips, and then step the back foot forward so that the heel touches the ground. Leaning with the hips, go ahead and straighten that front leg. We're going to hinge, from the hips, and find our pyramid pose. And just notice how this side feels compared to the other. Gaze to the top of the mat. Take a small bend through the left, coming to half moon. Ground through the left hand, and then right hand and right leg reach up and back. Find your balance. Look at how hard carpet is to balance on. And then gaze down at your mat. Take the right hand down and step both feet for forward fold. Good. Breathe it out. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Plant the hands and step it back either to downward dog or to high plank. Optional vinyasa. Once you come to downward facing dog, take a full cleansing breath. And then gazing to the top of the mat, go ahead and walk the feet up to the outside edges. Finding our Yogi Squat. The heels can face in, toes can face out. We're going to sink the hips down. Finding that deep hip stretch. Allow the hands to press together in prayer. Elbows to send the knees wide. And then taking the right hand down to the ground, let's find a twist. Left hand reaches high. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog drinking. He's a noisy boy. And then take the left hand down and reach the right hand up. And release both hands down. And then go ahead and straighten the legs, staying in this wide fold. Take a moment of relief. And then begin to sink your hips back down just for a moment. Finding your Yogi Squat. Release the hands once again, straighten the legs, and this time heel toe the feet in, nice and close. Bend the knees a lot, coming into a small little ball. Be high on the tippy toes. Find your balance here for a moment. And then with control, we're going to lower down onto our seat. So much for control. All right. Finding our seated forward fold. Allow the feet to flex and the legs to be long. And have a small bend here. And how to find length through the spine. And exhale, begin to reach forward, grabbing onto whatever is available. Take a couple of breaths. And then release the feet. Go ahead and cross the legs, roll onto all fours. And coming back to our puppy pose. Allow the knees to be under the hips. Begin to walk your hands forward. And the upper body mounts once again to the top, or to the mat. Try and find a bit more length in the shoulders, a bit more space. And then walk your hands in towards your body. Coming back to downward facing dog. Plant the hands. Tuck the toes. And lift the tailbone. Notice how this feels compared to your first downward facing dog. And on an inhale, step the right foot forward. Begin to walk your hands along the long edge of the mat as you pivot the feet to a wide straddle. Inhale to rise up. Bring your hands to your hips. And then using our elbows as our pointers, feel firm through the quads. Really engage the legs here. And then begin to tilt the body over to the left, using that elbow to point down at the left foot. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Make a nice stretch through the right side. And then use your core strength to draw you up to center and over to the right. Pointing that right elbow towards the right foot. Gaze up to the left. Inhale to come up to center, and this time release the hands to your thighs. Left hand slides down the left thigh, the left leg, and maybe the right hand reaches up towards the sky. Inhale to come up to center, and then right hand slides down the right leg, left hand reaches up. Allow your grip of your leg to be light, really engaging the core. Good, come back up to center. Interlace the hands behind your back, open the chest, and take a nice forward fold. Allow the head and the neck to be heavy. And then gently release the hands. Really sink into your wide-legged forward fold. On your next breath, begin to walk the hands to the back of the mat. So we're facing the opposite way here. Lower the back knee down and coming into pigeon with the left foot forward. Go ahead and square up that left shin, bringing the left foot in close to the groin or maybe to the outside of the mat. Stay up nice and high on the fingertips. Find your length. And then when you're ready, you can begin to take a fold. We'll be here for just 5 breaths, not holding for too long. And begin to walk your hands back into the body. And go ahead and tuck the back leg. And walk the hands back over to center, coming back to our wide-legged forward fold. Maybe a little bit of shifting with the legs needed there. And then walking the hands to the top of the mat, sitting up for pigeon on the other side. Lower the back knee down. Square up that right shin. Left leg goes nice and long. And then find your length. And when you are ready, you can take that fold. Begin to walk your hands back into center. And then staying at the top of the mat, go ahead and just shift that right leg back, coming to all fours. Give your hips a nice little wiggle, or whatever they would like. And then cross the legs behind you, make your way back to a seat. Legs are nice and long in front of us. Give the knees a nice little pedal out. And then finding our cow face pose. We're going to bring the feet to the ground, and the left leg is going to cross underneath us. Right leg is going to cross over top. Now, if this isn't accessible, that left leg can stay nice and long, and the right knee just draws across. All right, this is cool too. Same stretch, just a different look, that's all. Depending on where you need to feel it, will determine where you end up. And we'll take some deep breaths here. Just allow the mind to settle down. Allow the sensations to come. And then if you'd like to add in the arms, we'll take the left arm underneath, the right arm on top, and then finding our bind, drawing the elbows up and away from us, actively opening the shoulder blades. One more breath. And then release the arms and unwind the feet. Unwind the legs. Good. Take the hands behind you if you like and give yourself a little reset. And then when you're ready, finding the opposite order. So the right leg is underneath. Maybe it's long, and the left leg crosses over top. And you may find that one side just feels a lot more open and spacious than the other. And it's pretty typical. We're not super symmetrical. We'll begin to settle in here. Find our edge, our place of not pain. We're never looking for pain. Just that stretch that pushes us to be a little bit more aware of our body. And then adding the arms in if you would like. This time the right arm goes on top, left arm goes underneath. That's a lie, it's the other way. Right arm underneath, left arm on top. And then finding the bind. Breathe into the left shoulder blade. And then release the arms. Gently release the legs. Find your rebound if you would like it. Beautiful work. And then coming back to sit on our seat. Finding butterfly pose. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. Let the knees fall wide. Find some length here as you hook the big toes with the peace fingers. And then if you would like to take it, you can begin to fold over top of the legs. Really not forcing, again, allowing this to be actually quite passive. So letting gravity do most of the work. And then release. Press yourself back upright, draw the knees together, and find any comfortable seat that serves you this morning. We're going to take a little twist. So taking the right hand behind you, use the left hand to draw on the right knee, and gaze back over the right shoulder. Take 3 breaths here. Really allow your body to soften. And then taking it to the other side. Take the left hand behind you. Right hand to the left knee. And release the twist. Come back to center. And allow the hands and the legs to rest wherever is comfortable as we close down our practice. Once again, feel the weight of your body. And notice how it feels now compared to our beginning. When we first arrived on the mat and we checked in. I invite you to set an intention for your day. Staying in the present moment, bring your awareness to your breath. Notice its sound. Notice its speed. Taking a little moment of gratitude for this one thing that our body does without us even consciously being aware of it. It gives us so much. And with your intention in mind, bring your hands to heart center, pressing the thumbs, the fingers together. Take a small bow, thanking yourself for this time, for this practice, and for the day that is to come. Namaste.